Hello and welcome to Album IQ, your ultimate resource for album reviews. My name's John, and today we're going to be talking about Lady Gaga's latest album, Mayhem. Lady Gaga's latest album, I'm kind of torn, because in my opinion, it's got one of the best tracks I've heard in 2025 so far, but it also has some of the worst tracks I've heard in 2025 so far. So there's a split. There's one really good song, and the rest I could probably live without, but we're going to go through the album, and not in great detail. This is another one of those albums that's been pretty long. I've been noticing a lot of the pop albums have been kind of long lately. This one's 17 tracks and probably a little bit over an hour worth of listen time. Could it have been trimmed down? Most likely. I'm wondering if this is like a new trend. You saw this with Justin Bieber in his last two albums, just lots of tracks, very long. I'm wondering if people are trying to fulfill contract obligations or something, but I don't know. Either way, let's get into this album. I don't need to go too much into the artist's background. Y'all know who Lady Gaga is. I got to tell you, to me, I usually save the theme of the album till the end, but this whole album to me seems derivative. It feels formulaic and derivative of herself. We've heard these sounds before. We've heard some of these motifs before. We've heard some of these melodies before. And while a lot of it feels very Lady Gaga, some of it is clearly borrowing from, let's say, parallel artists and their recent successes. I've heard people talk about this album a little bit. I try not to get too much into it before I do my own review, but a lot of people are saying, oh, it harks back to the Fame Monster days. That was probably her best album. I wouldn't call this like a renaissance or a resurgence of her Fame Monster days. Again, to me, it feels derivative. It almost feels like she's trying to recapture something that she once had that's not currently present in her latest album. And so let's start off by talking about the album. Sonically sounds great. I mean, it sounds great. Serban Gania, I'm probably saying that wrong, but I do follow him as a mix engineer. He just did a fantastic job, and we could talk about that a little bit more in detail at the end. But sonically, the album sounds great. Let's start with some of the things I really liked. So the first track on the album, "Disease," it's a good track, but again, it's formulaic and it's like derivative. It's something you've heard before. It's like she's using the same exact ingredients to make a slightly different soup every time. And instead of using regular oregano, this time she used powdered oregano. And the soup is different, and I served it in a different bowl. But it's nothing you haven't heard before. Not an overly catchy track, but not one of my least favorite. I would like to talk about some other tracks. So, for example, Perfect Celebrity, kind of a cool track. It's a little bit more interesting. It's got a little bit more of a catchy vibe to it. The reverb work in that track, the way that Serban the mixer was able to use reverb to contrast verse, chorus to create this space. The song sounds so big because of his use of reverb and the way that he mixed the track and the way that he uses EQs to make things duller or make things brighter at certain times. Throughout this album, you'll find tracks that will just kind of almost be like a masterclass in reverb. And this even applies to tracks I don't like. Another track in which the reverb is just done so tastefully and so well, and it's used in such a masterful way to impact the vibe of the song and how close and how far and how big and how small things feel is Vanish Into You. So if you're looking for an example of just what I would consider a reverb masterclass throughout this album, it's a masterclass on reverb. Just the way it creates depth and space and size, just all the way throughout this album. Good songs, bad songs. It's just a masterclass in reverb and a masterclass in subtle EQ moves. So for those of you who kind of want to have something to listen to and you happen to really like him as a mixer, then this is a good album to listen to. You're probably not going to walk away singing any of the songs, but you'll definitely get a good listening experience, especially if you got the right headphones. I listen mostly in nicer high-end headphones. That being said, I'd like to talk about the song I really, really liked. Die With a Smile. Y'all have probably heard it. It's been used on shorts, reels, and different things in social media. But I really, really like this song. It captures an old school vibe, but presents it, in my opinion, in a new way that makes it interesting and meaningful because it adds something new to something that we've already heard before. The writing is good. The chord changes are unexpected and interesting. There's a great use of harmonies. These are things that you just don't get a lot of anymore. And this track, to me, one of the best tracks of 2025, absolutely by no question whatsoever the best track on this album. If I was going to critique that track at all, I would just say that I feel like they did the vocalist in the wrong order. So think about the track like Who Wants to Live Forever by Queen. Remember, Brian May comes in first, and then after Brian May, like he sets this tone and this threshold for the vocals, and then all of a sudden Freddie Mercury jumps in and you're like, oh, that's what an amazing singer sounds like. Because by comparison, there's a drastic difference. And so you start at one level and then boom, it pops up again. You could say the same thing about like Say, 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 that song that's got Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney's a great singer, and I know my references are really old, but I don't know what else to reference to. Paul McCartney starts that track. Fantastic voice, great. But then when Michael Jackson comes in on the next line or the next verse, man, the singing just comes up to a whole other echelon, and you can tell, you can hear it, and you can feel it. That same thing happens on Die With a Smile, except it's in reverse. They put Bruno Mars up first. And I'll be honest with you, while she doesn't have a bad voice, and it's not like there's a drastic drop off, and it might not be as drastic as Brian May to Freddie Mercury, every time I listen to the song, I feel like they started with their stronger singer, Bruno Mars, and then Lady Gaga comes in afterwards. And the overall quality, to me, in the vocal performance just drops just a little bit. And to me, the song feels inside out because of that. Outside of that, though, even this song has a great use of reverb. Like just the way that Serbia creates space and, again, depth and like upfrontness and brightness. And a lot of this, I believe, is done with maybe very subtle EQ mixes, but a lot of it's done with reverb. And for those of you who want to hear that, go in and listen to some of these tracks I'm talking about and listen closely. You're going to need a nice hair. Don't listen to Bluetooth earpods or AirPods. Don't listen to Bluetooth AirPods or earbuds is what I want to say, because you're not going to catch it. You need nicer headphones that have a lot of detail, but man, it's definitely in there. So let's move to some of the stuff I didn't like. Man, this song Abracadabra. I'm so over this crap she does where she just can't write lyrics. Like, what is it with all the gibberish and all the made up words? Like, it's over. It's done. It's played out. She's done it. Some people talk about it like, oh, well, she mentioned a couple Latin words in there that mean love and one means death, and that's supposed to give it depth. That's not depth. It's not depth. Abracadabra, abra, ooh la la, mama gaga, ooh na na. Like, what is this? What is this gibberish that she's doing all the time? Write lyrics. Write lyrics. You have a team of writers. Your whole life is dedicated to writing songs. Write some lyrics. She does this all the time. Think about that song she did for that movie. She goes into that chorus, in the shallows, the shallows, the la 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 la. Like, lady, write words. Write words. How many people go into a writing session and they're like, man, I just don't know what to say here. Like, oh, I got it, bro. Just ooh na na la 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 through the rest of it, and everyone's gonna think it's great. I don't know why that works for her. I don't know why that works for her. It doesn't work for anybody else, and I don't know why her production team wasn't like just telling her to move on. Like, I'm tired of the gibberish. She did it in Bad Romance. She did it. She does it all the time. Applause. I did it for the applause. Like, dude, write words. Just write some words. Your whole life is dedicated to writing songs. Just write words. If you don't have words right now, do like the rest of the songwriters I know do, and just do little things in between until you can get something written. She doesn't do that. You know what would be interesting? Maybe her and Jonathan Davis from Korn, they can get together and do like a gibberish album or like a gibberish song where he can like rachapu da da and she can like gaga una na, and they can just do that the whole time, and they can call it getting gibberish with it. That's a new single. Jonathan Davis, Lady Gaga, getting gibberish with it. Keep a lookout. You won't know any of the words because no real words will be used, but it'll be a new song. And actually, that might be interesting. I would actually listen to that. So, same thing, honestly. We keep stepping into these, like, Garden of Eden was just another song that, like, she does this thing. I'll take you to the, like, and then, like, it's like this chanty, take you to the Garden of, it's just cheesy. It's just cheesy. It's boring. It's uninspired. And I'm ready for something new, Lady Gaga. I'm ready for something new. Try writing some lyrics and see how that goes at your next album. Man, I don't even know where to go from here. Zombie, it's like a disco Holla Batgirl ripoff. Maybe I don't want to say ripoff. It's like a disco Holla Batgirl inspired track. How Bad is like it's got like very Taylor Swift 1984 vibes to it. Dead Dance, that's the single, right? Dead Dance, that's the popular one. I've heard that sound before. Justice was doing that years ago. That's the Justice sound. The drums, the bass, the tempo, even some of the groove, that's Justice. Like all she did was like basically kind of take a Justice track and then put some Lady Gaga vocals over it. Like, I'm not impressed by the writing. Overall, I'm really not, outside of the one song that I really liked, Die With a Smile. Same thing with the song Killa. Killa has a cameo by somebody I'm not really familiar with, and he programmed some of the keyboards and some of the drums because I was looking at the credits. But man, it feels again like heavily inspired by Fame by David Bowie and John Lennon. Even the way she repeats Killa, 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 like that's what they did with Fame. Fame, Fame, Fame. It's the same thing. And even some of the guitar riffs sound like they were pulled directly, almost sampled from that song. So if she's not being derivative of herself, she's being derivative of other people. And to me, it just doesn't bring anything new. But I like that song, Die With a Smile, so much that like I'm willing to forgive the rest of the album. And Serban, he does such just like, man, again, the reverb, it's just mixed really well. It's a very good, like produced album, but like the writing and the catchiness of the tracks, it's just not there. It's just not there. But there are some good things to pull from it. And I really do like that one track. I mean, lyrics and theme, I know I read somewhere that Lady Gaga was saying she felt like this was the album that was most representative of who she really is. I kind of find that ironic because she's trying to sound like her old self and other people. So is that who she really is? Is that what being famous does to you? Is that what being in Hollywood does to you long enough? Is that like what's really you is actually not you? I don't know. It's kind of what it seems like. But she says that she feels like this is the most accurate representation of her, I guess, as an artist or something along those lines. And this is the best album she's put out in a while, or her favorite album she's put out in a while. That's because it's all these other artists' songs and styles that she likes that she incorporated into hers. I challenge you to go through this album, listen to the whole thing one time, and see if you can walk away and sing any of the choruses or any of the verses to any of the songs, except for ones that you might hate, like Abracadabra, Abra Unana, Gaga Ooh-La-La, Cha-Cha Re-Mama, whatever, or Die With a Smile. I would sing it to you right now, but it's very high-pitched, and I don't feel like doing that. So lyrically, not overall impressed. Theme, I feel like the album is comprehensive and it is cohesive as a theme, as a themed album, but it's not anything new to me. It doesn't progress even her own brand. It doesn't really progress her own brand very well, and it doesn't progress any of these other sounds in any way, again, except for Die With a Smile, where I feel like they really did kind of take this old school sound, put a modern polish on it, but still nod to the sound of before, but then did some meaningful writing, some like intentional chord changes, some nice accompanying melody leading lines, and some harmonies, things you don't get a lot anymore. Really well written song. I can't say enough good things about that song. I really like that song, except that they should have put Lady Gaga up first and then let Bruno come in and kind of play cleanup. Overall impact. Am I being too critical? I hear that I'm sometimes too critical, but here's the thing. You've got all the resources, all the time. There's nothing at your fingertips that you can't get. If you can't be inspired by a location, or you can't be inspired by the people you're writing with, like there's no sound you can't access. There's no performance or musician you can't get access to. There's no songwriter that you can't collaborate with. There's no studio you can't record in. You have your whole life, every waking moment is dedicated to being a creative artist. And when you have all the resources and all the time and no constraints, my expectation is very high. It is very high. That's why maybe I come across as too critical on some of these albums, but I don't know. I know a lot of creative people right now, and if I gave them half the resources and half the time that Lady Gaga was given on this album, they probably would have come up with probably like 12 really strong songs instead of 17, where I could live without 16 of them. So let me know what you think. Am I being too critical? Am I always too critical? Did anybody else listen to this album? Does anybody else feel or agree with the things I said about the mixes or the reverbs? Like, does anybody else have any other highlights to the mixes that you're interested in? Did anybody else feel like any of the songs are written? Is anyone else interested in hearing my Lady Gaga, Jonathan Davis, getting gibberish with it collab? Other than that, verdict, because we're coming at it from like a producer standpoint and a mixing engineer standpoint, not just a songwriter performative, I'm going to give this album a 3 out of 5. Conceptually, it could have been stronger. Editorial, like as far as how it was edited, it could have been shrunk down. I feel like maybe Lady Gaga needs a couple more true friends in her camp, willing to tell her like, hey, this kind of sounds like something you've done before, or hey, I've kind of heard you do that melody line before, or hey, this sounds like somebody else's song, or hey, this isn't really new. In what way would you like to push the needle? But outside of that, we are going to give it a 3 out of 5. Y'all let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching. Again, my name's John for albumiq, your ultimate resource for album reviews. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.